There's a secret Father Pio revealed to only a select few, a secret so incredibly simple that most people chuckle when they first hear it. But those who followed this practice were never the same. By the end of this story, you'll understand why a tiny cross can completely transform the energy in your home, and why the refrigerator is far more important than you realize. But before I tell you the secret, I need you to grasp something critical. Envy isn't just a feeling. It's a powerful force, and an invisible force that eats away at you, that destroys, that seeps into the darkest corners of your life. Have you ever felt that strange weight when someone looks at you differently? That unsettling feeling that something isn't right in your environment, like a heavy energy has settled into your home. I know how you feel, because for years, I too thought it was just paranoia, until I discovered what Padre Pio truly knew about these invisible forces. It was 1947. A young Italian priest walked the corridors of a convent in San Giovanni Rotondo. His hands bled, his feet bled. The stigmata of Christ had marked his body for almost 30 years, but that day something else troubled Padre Pio. It wasn't his wounds, it was a woman, a desperate mother who had arrived at the convent the night before. She trembled, she wept. She told a story that seemed impossible to believe. Her family was being torn apart, not by illness, not by poverty, but by something she couldn't name, a subtle force that transformed love into bitterness. That made her children fight for no reason. That turned every meal into an emotional battlefield. Padre Pio listened in silence, and then he did something no one expected. He smiled. "My daughter," he said, "do you know where the heart of your home is?" The woman looked confused. Padre Pio continued, "It's not in the living room. It's not in the bedroom. It's in the kitchen. More specifically, the refrigerator." It might sound strange, Padre Pio talking about a refrigerator, but there's a profound reason for this, a reason that connects the spiritual with the physical in a way few have understood. The refrigerator is where we store food, food that nourishes our bodies. Well, that keeps us alive. That gives us the strength to face each day. But Padre Pio knew something more. He knew that where the body's nourishment is, the energies of the home are also concentrated. Think about it. How many times a day do you open the refrigerator? How many times does your family gather in the kitchen? How many important decisions happen in that space? The kitchen is the true center of any home. And the refrigerator is like the heart of that center, beating silently, sustaining life, preserving what's essential. But here's what almost no one realizes. If the refrigerator is the heart of the house, then it's also where negative energies concentrate. It's like an invisible magnet that attracts not only food, but also feelings, intentions, and glances filled with envy. Padre Pio understood this in a unique way. He saw beyond the visible, he perceived connections that escaped others, and he developed a practice so simple, so discreet, that it seemed almost ridiculous. A small cross. It doesn't have to be large. It doesn't have to be gold. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just a simple cross, small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. "Place this cross in your refrigerator," Padre Pio told the desperate woman. "Not on the door. Inside. Somewhere where it doesn't attract attention, but where it's always present." The woman hesitated. It seemed too simple and too easy. How could something so small solve such a big problem? But Padre Pio knew what she didn't know. He understood the power of symbols, the strength of seemingly insignificant gestures, the impact of the sacred in the everyday. A cross isn't just an object. It's a portal, a bridge between the human and the divine, a silent declaration of faith, a protection that works in dimensions our eyes can't see. And when you place that cross in the refrigerator, something extraordinary happens. You're not just decorating, you're consecrating. You're transforming a common space into sacred territory. Envy is energy. The cross is energy too, but they are opposite energies, like light and darkness, like love and hate, like protection and attack. Imagine two forces meeting, one that corrodes, destroys, sows discord, another that heals, protects, brings peace. What happens when they collide? Light always overcomes darkness, always. No matter how intense the darkness, a single candle is enough to dispel it. And a cross, a small cross, carries within it all the force of divine light. But there's something more. Something Padre Pio didn't explain to the woman in that first encounter, something he would only reveal years later to those who truly understood the depth of the practice. The cross in the refrigerator doesn't just block envy, it transforms envy into a blessing. Let me explain. When someone looks at your life with envy, they're directing energy towards you. Negative energy, yes, but energy nonetheless. And energy can be transmuted. The cross acts as a spiritual transformer. It takes that negative energy and converts it into protection, into blessing, into strength for your family. It's as if the envy of others becomes fuel for your happiness, as if malicious glances transform into involuntary prayers in your favor. Have you ever noticed how some families seem to have inexplicable good fortune, how everything works out for them, as if they were protected by an invisible force? Maybe it's not luck, maybe it's wisdom. The wisdom of transforming attacks into blessings, of converting envy into protection. Padre Pio knew this, and he practiced this. That's why his prayers were so powerful. That's why his miracles were so real. He had learned the spiritual alchemy of transformation. But let's return to the woman at the convent. She did exactly what Padre Pio instructed. She bought a small cross, took it home, and discreetly placed it inside the refrigerator, behind a jar of preserves. In the first few days, nothing seemed to change. The family remained tense. The arguments persisted. The heavy glances of the neighbors hadn't ceased, but then something subtle began to happen. The arguments became less intense. The children started smiling more. The husband came home in a better mood. By the second week, the transformation was undeniable. The house breathed peace. Meals were once again moments of unity. The envious neighbors simply stopped bothering them. It's not magic. It's spiritual science. It's a deep understanding of how the invisible energies that surround us work. The cross in the refrigerator creates what Padre Pio called a protective field. There's a secret Padre Pio shared with only a few. A secret so simple, most people laugh when they first hear it, but those who followed this practice were never the same. By the end of this story, you'll understand why a tiny cross can completely transform your home's energy, and why how the refrigerator is far more important than you can imagine. But before I reveal the secret, you need to understand something. Envy isn't just a feeling, it's a force. An invisible force that corrodes, destroys, and infiltrates the darkest corners of our lives. An invisible field that neutralizes negative influences before they can affect your family. It's like a spiritual immune system. Just as your body has defenses against viruses and bacteria, your home can have defenses against harmful energies. And the refrigerator is the perfect place for this protection, because that's where life concentrates, where the family's sustenance is preserved, where basic needs are met. When you protect the heart of the home, you protect the entire home. When you consecrate the center, everything around benefits from that consecration. But I need to tell you something important. Something that many people do wrong when they try to apply this practice. It's not about the size of the cross. It's not about the material. It's not about the price. It's about the intention. It's about faith. It's about the love with which you make this simple gesture. Padre Pio always said, God doesn't need large objects to perform great miracles. A mustard seed can move mountains. A small cross can protect an entire family. But there's a condition that Padre Pio never failed to mention. The cross needs to be placed with love, with faith, with the certainty that you are doing something sacred, not just following a superstition. The difference is huge. Superstition comes from fear. Faith comes from love. And only love has real transformative power. When you place that cross in the refrigerator with love, you are declaring something powerful to the universe. You're saying, this house is protected, this family is blessed, this home is sacred territory. And the universe it always responds because it recognizes the sincerity of the gesture, the purity of the intention, the strength of genuine faith. But there's something more I need to reveal. Something that will completely change your understanding of this practice. Something that Padre Pio only told his closest disciples. The cross in the refrigerator doesn't just protect against the envy of others. It also protects against your own envy. Think about it. How many times have you been envious of someone? How many times have you looked at the lives of others and wished you had what they have? How many times has that envy corroded your inner peace? Envy is a poison, but a poison that first poisons the one who feels it. Before reaching the other, it destroys you from within. It corrodes your joy. It contaminates your relationships. It obscures your vision of life. And the cross in the refrigerator works as an antidote, as an internal purifier, as a constant reminder that you have everything you need, that your life is blessed exactly as it is. Each time you open the refrigerator and see that small cross, something happens in your subconscious. A silent message is sent to your soul. Be grateful, be happy, be at peace. And gradually, envy loses its strength. It's replaced by gratitude, by contentment, by genuine joy in the happiness of others. This is true transformation. This is the real miracle of Padre Pio's practice. But I haven't finished telling you everything yet, because there's a secret within the secret, a deeper layer of this wisdom that few have discovered. The cross in the refrigerator is just the beginning. It's the first step of a spiritual journey that can transform not only your home, but your entire life. Padre Pio knew that a simple practice can open doors to deep spiritual experiences, that a small gesture can awaken huge faith, and when your faith awakens, when your home truly becomes a sanctuary, extraordinary things begin to happen. Synchronicity, unexpected blessings, protection in times of danger. You begin to live a protected life, a life where the envy of others not only doesn't affect you, but transforms into strength for your happiness. It's as if you've discovered an ancestral secret, a wisdom that few know, a key that opens invisible doors, and it all started with a small cross inside a refrigerator, in the heart of your home. But there's so much more to discover, much more to understand, much more to experience, because Padre Pio didn't stop there. He developed an entire spiritual science around this simple practice, a science that can revolutionize your relationship with the sacred, with your family, with your own soul. And that's what I'm going to reveal to you now. The deepest secrets that Padre Pio kept for those who truly understood the power of the cross in the refrigerator. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs, because what I'm going to tell you now will change everything you've thought up to now. Padre Pio wasn't just a saint. He was a spiritual scientist, a researcher of the invisible dimensions of reality. And during his 50 years of priesthood, he mapped exactly how energies flow within a house. There's a map, an energetic map that he developed secretly, a map that shows the power points of any home. And the refrigerator is at the center of that map. But why the refrigerator? Why not the family altar? Why not the parents' bedroom? Why not the main living room? The answer will surprise you, and it will forever change how you see your own home. The refrigerator operates at a specific frequency, a frequency that resonates with the frequency of abundance, preservation, continuous life. It's an appliance that never stops, that works 24 hours a day, that keeps life going. Padre Pio discovered that this constant frequency creates what he called a vortex of sustenance, an energy field that influences everything around it. Everything that comes into contact with this frequency becomes impregnated with it. Now imagine a cross inside this vortex, a cross charged with all the spiritual power of faith, working 24 hours a day, constantly radiating protection. It's like having an electronic guardian angel, a protector who never sleeps, a blessing that never stops working. But Padre Pio went further, much further. He discovered that there are specific moments when this protection intensifies, moments when the cross in the refrigerator becomes exponentially more powerful. The first moment is during family meals. When the family gathers to eat, the refrigerator's frequency synchronizes with the frequency of family love. The cross amplifies this synchronization. The result? Meals that strengthen not only the body, but also the emotional bonds. Families who practice this report something extraordinary. Arguments at the table simply disappear. Conversations become deeper. Children begin to value family time more. It's as if the cross transforms each meal into a silent communion, each bite into an act of love, each family gathering into a celebration of unity. The second moment is during the early morning hours. Between 3 and 6 a.m. when the house is asleep, the refrigerator's frequency reaches its peak power. It's during these hours that it works most intensely to keep everything preserved. Padre Pio knew that this is the time when negative energies are most active. It's when spiritual attacks occur. It's when the envy of others finds less resistance to infiltrate homes, but a cross on the refrigerator creates an automatic shield. Throughout the night, while you sleep soundly, it works like a spiritual sentinel, blocking attacks, neutralizing negativity, protecting your dreams. Have you ever woken up inexplicably tired, as if you'd wrestled all night, as if something had drained your energy during your sleep? This could be a sign of a nocturnal energy attack, someone directing envy, anger, or resentment towards you during your most vulnerable hours. The cross on the refrigerator interrupts this process. It creates a barrier that prevents these negative energies from reaching you. The result? More restorative sleep, a more invigorating awakening, days that begin with positive energy. But there's a third moment, the most powerful of all, a moment that Padre Pio discovered by chance during a mystical experience that changed his understanding of the practice. It was a Good Friday. Padre Pio had been fasting for 3 days. His stigmata bled more intensely than usual. He was in deep contemplation when he had a vision. He saw thousands of houses, all connected by invisible threads of light, and in every house where there was a cross on the refrigerator, the light was more intense. Brighter, more powerful, but in one of the houses something extraordinary was happening. The light wasn't just shining, it was pulsating, like a heart, like a divine breath. Padre Pio focused his vision on that specific house and discovered what made it different. In that house, the family did something special every Friday, something that infinitely amplified the power of the cross. They fasted, not a rigorous fast, just a simple meal, bread and water, offered in gratitude for all the week's blessings. And in this moment of voluntary fasting, of conscious gratitude, of chosen simplicity, the cross on the refrigerator transformed. From passive protection to active power, from shield to spiritual sword, Padre Pio understood. Fasting was the key, gratitude was the catalyst, simplicity was the amplifier, and he developed what he secretly called the Sacred Friday Protocol, a weekly ritual that transforms the home into a true sanctuary of protection. But pay attention, this is not mandatory. The cross on the refrigerator works perfectly on its own. The protocol is only for those who want to elevate the practice to a higher level, for those who seek not only protection, but deep spiritual transformation. The protocol is simple. Every Friday, the family shares a special meal, not special for its refinement, but for its intention. Simple bread, pure water, sincere gratitude. Before eating, someone in the family goes to the refrigerator, gently touches the hidden cross, and offers a prayer of thanks for the food, for the family, for the protection received. It's a moment of only 5 minutes, but these 5 minutes create a deep connection between the family and the sacred, between the home and the divine, between the everyday and the eternal. Families who practice the protocol report experiences that border on the supernatural, prophetic dreams, accurate intuitions, protection in dangerous situations, unexpected blessings. Now, it's as if the entire house becomes a channel of communication with the divine, as if every room were imbued with a loving presence, as if the family lived under an invisible dome of protection. But I need to warn you about something that Padre Pio always emphasized to those who wanted to practice the protocol. Don't do it out of obligation. Don't do it out of superstition. Don't do it to guarantee blessings. Do it only if you feel genuine gratitude, if you have a sincere desire to connect your family with the sacred. The difference is crucial. Obligation creates weight. Gratitude creates lightness. Superstition creates fear. Faith generates love. And only love has real transformative power. Padre Pio said, God doesn't want obligated servants. He wants grateful children. And it is this gratitude that activates the true power of the cross on the refrigerator. But now I'm going to reveal something even deeper, something that very few people know, something that Padre Pio discovered in the last years of his life, when his mystical experiences reached unimaginable depths. He discovered that the cross on the refrigerator not only protects against external envy, it transforms the family itself into a radiator of blessings. Let me explain this better. When your home becomes truly protected, when your family lives in genuine harmony, when your relationships flow with love, you become a source of light for others. People begin to feel good in your presence. Your friends seek your company when they are sad. Neighbors ask for advice. Colleagues open up to you. It's not a coincidence, it's a consequence of living in an energetically purified environment, of being nourished daily by high frequencies, of having your soul constantly attuned to the sacred. You become an involuntary healer, a walking source of peace, a channel of blessings for all who cross your path, and this creates an extraordinary virtuous cycle. The more you bless others, the more blessed you become. The more you radiate love, the more love you receive. The more you protect, the more protected you become. Padre Pio experienced this intensely. His mere presence healed people. His words had transformative power. His gestures generated miracles. And it all started with simple practices, with seemingly insignificant gestures, with a small cross in an unlikely place. But there's a final discovery I need to share. The discovery that Padre Pio made in the last days of his life, a revelation that he whispered only to his closest disciples. The cross on the refrigerator is a symbol of something much greater, something that transforms not only houses, but souls, not only families, but destinies. This symbol represents the human capacity to transform the ordinary into the sacred, to find the divine in the everyday, to make the home a temple, the family a spiritual community. When you place that cross on the refrigerator, you are doing much more than following a practice. You are declaring your faith in the possibility of transformation. You are affirming that the sacred can inhabit any place, that the divine is not distant but present in every act of love. And this declaration, this affirmation has creative power. It materializes what you believe, manifests what you declare, transforms your home into what you proclaim it to be. That's why the practice works. Not because the cross has magical powers, but why does your faith have creative power? Your intention, transformative strength. Your love, materializing energy. The cross is merely the trigger. The true power resides within you, in your capacity to believe, to love, to transform. Padre Pio knew this, and that's why he never told people the cross was magic. He said faith was magic, that love was magic, that gratitude was magic. The cross simply awakens this magic already existing within you. It activates this force that has always been available. It reveals this power you've always possessed. But here's the deeper secret Padre Pio understood. The cross on the refrigerator acts as a spiritual mirror. It reflects back to you the energy you put into it. If you place it with fear, it reflects protection against your fears. If you place it with love, it reflects more love into your life. If you place it with gratitude, it multiplies the reasons for you to be grateful. It's a universal, spiritual law. You receive back what you offer to the universe. The cross merely amplifies this law, accelerates this process, makes visible what was always invisible. That's why some people experience dramatic transformations, while others notice more subtle changes. It's not because the cross is more or less powerful. It's because each person offers a different amount of faith, love, and intention. And when you understand this, when you truly grasp that the power is within you, your life changes completely. You stop seeking external solutions to internal problems. You stop waiting for others to change for you to be happy. You stop depending on external circumstances to find inner peace. You discover that you carry within you all the power necessary to transform your reality, that you possess within you all the strength needed to protect your family, that you have within you all the wisdom necessary to live in deep harmony. You understand that you are not a victim of circumstances. You are a co-creator of them. You are not a passive recipient of life. You are an active participant in the creation of your experience. The cross on the refrigerator is merely the first step on this journey of spiritual self-discovery, the first portal to a deeper understanding of who you truly are, the first awakening to the divine power that dwells in every human being. But it's a powerful first step, a solid step, a firm foundation to build a truly blessed life. Thousands of people have already experienced this practice. Thousands of families have transformed their homes into sanctuaries. Thousands of homes have found the peace they sought. And the most beautiful thing is that each story is unique. Each family discovers different aspects of the practice. Each person develops their own relationship with the sacred through this simple gesture. Some people report that the cross on the refrigerator completely changed family dynamics. Arguments that lasted for years simply ceased. Rebellious children became affectionate. Marriages in crisis found new harmony. Other people discovered that the practice awakened dormant intuitive abilities. They began to have prophetic dreams, developed increased spiritual sensitivity, began to perceive previously invisible energies. There are also those who experienced supernatural protection, accidents avoided by an inexplicable coincidence, illnesses that healed without medical explanation, financial problems resolved unexpectedly, and there are people who simply found peace, a deep, lasting, unshakable peace, the peace that comes from knowing that you are protected, that your family is blessed, that your home is a sacred refuge. All these experiences are real. All these transformations are possible. All these blessings are available. The only condition is sincerity, the genuineness of intention, the purity of the heart that places that small cross in such an unlikely place. It's not about a specific religion. It's not about rigid dogmas. It's not about complicated rules. It's about love. It's about faith. It's about the courage to believe that the impossible is possible. Padre Pio was Catholic, yes, but his wisdom transcends denominations. His practice works for anyone who has genuine faith in the power of love, in the power of divine protection, in the power of spiritual transformation. What matters is not what you call the divine. What matters is that you acknowledge its existence, that you open yourself to its influence, that you invite its presence into your home, your family, your life. And when you do that, when you truly open your heart to the sacred, miracles begin to happen. Not spectacular miracles necessarily, but everyday miracles, small, constant, transformative. The miracle of waking up grateful, the miracle of a united family, the miracle of a peaceful home, the miracle of harmonious relationships, the miracle of problems being resolved, the miracle of a protected life. These are the true miracles, the miracles that truly matter, the miracles that transform existence from ordinary to extraordinary. And all of this can begin today, now, at this moment, with a simple decision, with a small gesture. With an inconspicuous cross on an ordinary refrigerator, Padre Pio would be smiling if he knew how many families will discover this practice through your decision, how many homes will become sanctuaries, how many lives will be transformed, because that was always his mission, not just to be a distant saint admired from afar, but to be a practical guide, a spiritual mentor, a friend who shares transformative wisdom. The cross on the refrigerator is his gift to you. Padre Pio's gift to your family, a spiritual legacy that has crossed decades to reach your hands. Accept this gift. Try this practice. Open your heart to this possibility. And when that small cross is discreetly kept in your refrigerator, when your home begins to breathe peace, when your family discovers new harmony, remember that you are not alone, that there are invisible forces working in your favor. That divine love is always available to those who seek it with sincerity. The door has always been open. Protection has always been available. Transformation has always been within your reach. You just needed the key. And Padre Pio just handed that key to you. Use it wisely. Use it with love. Use it with gratitude. And may your home become the sanctuary it was always destined to be. May your family find the peace it always deserved. May your life transform into the blessing it was always called to be, because you are worth it. Your family is worth it. Your home deserves it. And a small cross on the refrigerator can be the beginning of everything. But before I close, I need to tell you one last thing. Padre Pio shared a secret, a simple secret, with only a select few. A secret so simple, many initially dismissed it with a laugh. But those who followed his instructions were never the same. By the end of this story, you'll understand why a tiny cross can profoundly transform your home's energy, and why the refrigerator, oh, the refrigerator, is far more significant than you might imagine. But first, understand this. Envy isn't just a feeling. It's a powerful force, an invisible force that erodes, destroys, and seeps into the darkest corners of our lives. It's a force to be reckoned with, something Padre Pio insisted on mentioning to everyone who learned this practice. When you place the cross in your refrigerator, don't tell anyone for the first 40 days. Keep it a secret, between you and the divine. Let the energy settle. Allow the transformation to unfold naturally, without outside interference. Why? Because during those first 40 days, the energy is taking root. It's establishing deep roots in the spiritual atmosphere of your home. And nascent energy is vulnerable to outside influences. When you share details of newly initiated spiritual practices, you might inadvertently invite skepticism, envy, or negative energetic interference from those who don't understand what you're doing. After 40 days, once the protection is firmly established, you can share if you wish. But for those first 40 days, let it be a sacred secret. Padre Pio called this a period of spiritual gestation. Just as a baby needs protection while developing in the womb, spiritual practices need protection as they take hold in reality. Many who tried this practice and found it didn't work made precisely this mistake. They told everyone on day one, exposing the forming energy to all kinds of outside interference. Don't make that mistake. Protect your nascent practice. Guard your sacred secret. Let the cross work silently, as all true spiritual protection should. And when the 40 days are over, when you see your home transformed, your family united, your life protected, then you can share. Not as someone trying to convince others, but as someone bearing witness to an established reality. This is Padre Pio's ultimate wisdom, the understanding that the sacred works best in silence, that the most powerful protection is discreet protection, that the most lasting miracles are the ones that grow in secret before manifesting to the world. Now you have everything. You have the knowledge, you have the instructions, you have the complementary practices, you have the important warnings, you have the complete key to transforming your home into a sanctuary, to shielding your family from envy, to living a truly blessed life. What will you do with this gift? How will you use this wisdom? What kind of life will you build upon this foundation of spiritual protection? The choice is yours. The power is in your hands. The future of your family depends on your decision. Padre Pio did his part. He shared his wisdom. He revealed his secrets. Now it's your turn. Your turn to believe. Your turn to act. Your turn to transform. A small cross. An ordinary refrigerator. Genuine faith. That's all you need to begin experiencing the miracle that has always been possible. The miracle of a protected life, of a united family, of a peaceful home. The miracle that begins today, if you have the courage to take that first step.